Today I am making a moisturizing shea butter tallow soap. Hey everyone, it's Stephanie from the Farmhouse Mom, and today we are going to be making a moisturizing tallow-based goat milk soap. We are also adding shea butter, castor oil, olive oil, coconut oil, lots of good moisturizing oils that are going to be great for your skin. They're going to be beautiful and they're going to smell really great. We are going to start with our liquid for our soap. So I am going to be using goat milk. You can use water if you don't have access to goat milk. My recipe, which can be found on thefarmhousemom.com, is going to start with 12.73 ounces of goat milk. I've got some goat milk here that I've put in the freezer. It's still a little soft, but we're gonna go with it. When you are using goat milk, the lye is going to heat up the goat milk. It'll heat up water as well, but there aren't any sugars in water, so it's not going to burn the water. So what we do to counteract that is freeze our goat milk in ice cubes first. Right, now we're gonna put our protective eye gear on. And if you hear any goats screaming in the background, I have moved my 4-week-old babies in the junior pen with all the other little girls. They're out of the nursery and they're not used to being outside, so they're a little unnerved. So we are gonna put our lye container here. We're gonna tear it out. We're looking for 4.7 ounces of lye. And we are gonna pour it in our goat milk soap. So not only do we have mostly frozen goat milk soap, we have a bowl with ice and cold water in there, and we are gonna start to dissolve our lye. I just add a little bit at a time. So I probably go in 1/6 or 1/7. So I'll just pour a little bit and then I will start stirring it up. As you're adding the lye, it is gonna cause a chemical reaction and it's gonna heat the goat milk up. And so this ice water really helps out. We don't want to scorch it. We don't want it to separate. We don't want it to smell bad. And we're trying to maintain a nice soft creamy color. And goat milk soap is going to be a dark creamy color. It's not going to be white. So to make it very, very white, we will add zinc oxide. It's okay if it gets like a faint yellow color, even a medium yellow color. When you burn goat milk soap with lye, you will know it. It will smell very pungent and it will be like almost darker, like a darker orange than my little temperature control here. You can soap anywhere from the 70 degrees up to 120 degrees. I prefer to keep it between 80 and 90 degrees, 80 and 100 degrees. This is really the longest part. If you're using water, it's done in just a couple of minutes. You just stir it up until you see the lye is all dissolved. But if you're doing it with this goat milk, you don't want the sugars to burn, and it's just at least a 10-minute process. All right, so this went up to 102, it's down to 100, and so that's letting me know that the chemical reactions of the lye and the goat milk is cooling down, so I don't have to worry about that temperature spiking. I'm gonna stir it, check it one more time before I set it aside and start working on our oils. All right, and here are my oils. I went ahead and pre-made this. And in this oil mixture, you will find 10 ounces of tallow, 10 ounces of olive oil, 8 ounces of coconut oil, 3 ounces of shea butter, and 2.5 ounces of castor oil. I went ahead and just zapped that in the microwave. I generally melt it on the stove. I just felt a little lazy today. All right, we've got 92 on our oil and we've got 92 on our goat milk and lye mixture. So I'm gonna put this aside and we are ready to mix our lye with our oils. Sometimes I get a little nervous that the lye has not dissolved, and so I will use a mesh strainer to gently pour this in. I'm gonna go ahead and start with a low speed, and I burp it out so there's no bubbles that are coming up underneath the little dome shape. So I'm gonna slide it in, burp it out, and we're just trying to make a smooth soap, and so try not to get a lot of splashing or a lot of air bubbles. All right, we have a little bit of a trace, a light trace, and we have a really light pudding-like consistency. Basically, it's just sticking to the mixer. So I am now going to add the fragrance. I am making a lavender soap, so I am using Peaceful Lavender from Brambleberry, and I kind of just pour in some. It's probably a couple ounces. All right, now we have all of that fragrance mixed, and we are going to add some colors to our soap. Oh, that crazy goat. She is separated from her babies and she's very sad about it. But it's time for them to be weaned. She's so skinny because they're two big boys and they eat so much. All right, so we are gonna use 3 little containers and we're gonna just kind of make this an even mixture between the 3. And I usually just kind of eyeball it. And if you have one color that's a little bit more than the other color, it is not a big deal. Making soap is just like making sourdough bread. Just do it. You might make some really bad soap. You might make some really bad sourdough loaves. But honestly, for me, the best way to learn something is just to jump in and do it. And when you make those mistakes, those are your best teaching tools. All right, so I'm going to set this aside and I'm gonna grab my colors now. So for white, I have some zinc oxide mixed in with some sweet almond oil. And I usually, if one is kind of more than the others, I usually will use that for my white. So again, I just squeeze some, do a couple of squeezes, maybe an ounce or 2 of the white. And then I think we're gonna do a pretty pink color. And these are just some that I had left over that I ordered from Amazon. These are cosmetic grade, oops, I think I put a little too much there. This is cosmetic grade mica. I'm gonna do a pink, a white, a pink, and a purple. So we are going to go ahead and mix, and we are gonna start with the lightest color down to the darkest. That way we don't have to worry about washing off our little mixer. So gently, I'm gonna put it in there, burp it. We are gonna mix our white. All right, that's nice and beautiful. And it's not gonna be a bright white. It's just not going to happen unless you're putting a lot of oxide, and that can really seize the soap up. So you're just gonna have to be happy with like a nice soft ivory color. I'm really happy with that. That's a beautiful kind of like a rose gold. So maybe I didn't add too much. Let's try our purple. So to me, this is a little lighter than I want, so I'm just gonna add a little bit more purple mica coloring. So I do not sell my soaps online. I sell them in my little town that I live in. We will have antique days, and the building that I own with my friend. If you look back at my playlist, we have a building that we did a historic restoration. We have antique days a few days a year, and then I will sell my soaps there. If you're looking to buy soaps online, I would recommend Blue Cactus Goats. She does all kind of organic essential oils, and I really love her soaps, and that's kind of the style I prefer. I don't like a lot of artificial colorants. I don't like a lot of artificial fragrances. I just like using essential oils, and I really like her soaps. We are gonna go ahead and pour our liquid soap into our mold, and I just realized that I don't have a mold free, so I made 2 soaps yesterday that hopefully should be hardened enough. So I'm gonna pop one of those soaps out, and then that's the mold that we will use. So I'm gonna set this to the side really quick. And this is the lavender soap that I made yesterday. Hopefully it's nice and hard. Usually tallow soap gets pretty hard. If not, I do have some small molds, individual molds that I can use, but hopefully this is nice and hard. Yeah, I think this is okay. All right, so we're gonna go ahead and peel this away, and we're gonna quickly pop this soap out. I don't want to kind of, oh, it's a little bit soft on the corners, but that's okay. Go ahead and pull it out, and I'll set it to the side. I am gonna wipe this clean just to make sure I don't have any soap separation. All right, so we have our mold nice and clean. I'm just gonna dry it off a little. All right, and we're gonna go ahead and we're gonna do like a drop swirl pattern. So we're just gonna have our 3 colors, and we're just gonna pour them in, layer them on top of each other. So I first will just start, and our soap is getting a little thick, so we need to hurry up. So I'm gonna pour that soap in. And then I think I'll go with the pink, the lighter color. And then I'll add a little more white on top of that. And then purple. And you can just kind of experiment whatever you like to do. One of the reasons why I do more white than the other colors is it gives a little bit more of a separation. All right, I'm really hurrying up here because this soap is setting up. So we want to get this all poured. And we do not want this seizing up and getting clunky. Okay, need to use a spatula here to get the rest of this out. All right, so we're gonna tap it down just to make sure that there are no bubbles. And then I'm gonna go ahead and just swirl the top a little bit with a toothpick. And now we are just gonna drop all of the leftover soap just randomly on the top here. This purple is a really dusky color, so I will be interested to see what it looks like tomorrow. All right, so we have our soap here, and I am just going to swirl the top. I'm gonna clean this up. All right, and then I'm gonna come over to you and let you see the top of this soap. All right, so here is our beautiful soap, and as you can see, I just took the toothpick and I just kind of swirled around a little bit. I'm gonna set our soap to the side. I will see you back when it is time to cut our soaps. Now we're at the fun part, cutting the soaps. I have my 4 large bars of soap here that we are gonna cut into smaller ones. I try to get 10 out of each. Sometimes I cut a little bit bigger and I just get 9, which is fine. But these are the ones we did yesterday, I believe. These are the ones you saw me pour. And these are the ones I poured the day before. So I'm noticing that these colors are a little bit more muted. I use the in the pot method where I just put everything in the large bowl and then poured it in the mold. And then if you notice on these two, the more colorful ones, they have a little bit more separation. I use the drop method where we alternated dropping different colors of soap on top of each other. I also use shea butter in these two. They seem to be a harder soap. This is a little bit more of a softer soap, a little bit more liquid oil as opposed to a hard oil, which forms a solid at room temperature. And then I have my little stamp that I stamp my farm name on all of my soaps. So let's go ahead and get started. I will cut a couple of them to let you see, and then I'll bring everything up really close because that's the funnest part, just to kind of, I don't know why, but just to watch those soaps get cut really close is fun. So I am going to put this in my little mold. I kind of wished I had a fancier, one of those like big cutters, but I just don't really sell enough, I think, to kind of justify that for now. And so I call it rustic. If it's like different sizes, I'm like, oh, it's a rustic cut. So we'll just go ahead and do that. We'll put our cutter here on each side. I'll pull this out. Here's our soap, and I will go ahead and stamp it. So now I'll bring you a little bit closer. As you can see, this is a little bit more of a muted color with the in the pot method. Now here's our other loaf that we had without the shea butter. So you can see these colors are more muted, but it's still really beautiful, kind of like a little creamsicle. And then I put my little farm stamp on, and then we have a nice little stamp on it. Well, I must have got the right measurements on this because this cut 11 very even bars. That's the last one, and it's pretty similar to the other one. All right, let's cut our really pretty drop swirl method, and let's see what the colors look like inside. How pretty. This turned out really cute. I'm very pleased with this, really nice. All right, here's our last bar. That cut really nicely. All right, let's see what this looks like. Oh, I like it. Really beautiful and bold. I really like it, really nice. Well, here are all our beautiful soaps. I thought I was kind of disappointed in the subtlety of the in the pot swirls, but I really like this really beautiful orange one. I generally don't like really bold soaps. I prefer something more subtle, but this is really beautiful. It turned out really well, and then this one did a great job too. I think they all turned out really beautifully, and they really smell nice. The lavender and then the orange essential oil are my two favorite oils to work with always. Well, I hope you guys make this recipe at home, and please leave a comment and let me know if you do make it, or if you have any questions with soap making, feel free to leave a question and I'd be happy to answer it for you. Thank you guys so much, and happy soaping.